Imagine hiking through the serene beauty of Olympic National Park, surrounded by breathtaking mountain views, when suddenly you're face to face with a predator you never expected, a mountain goat. But this isn't just any wildlife encounter. It's one that turns deadly. How could a creature known for its peaceful grazing become so dangerous? And what chilling lessons does this story teach us about the unpredictability of nature? Buckle up, because today we're diving into one of the most shocking animal encounters in recent history. Welcome to Savage Tales Animal Encounters, where we explore the most incredible, terrifying and unexpected moments between humans and the wild. Today we're uncovering the tragic tale of Robert Boardman, a seasoned hiker whose fatal encounter with an aggressive mountain goat left an entire park community stunned. We'll break down the details, learn about the behaviors of mountain goats, and discuss how to stay safe in wildlife territory. This is one story you won't want to miss. If you're fascinated by the wild, drawn to gripping stories of survival and danger, or want to better understand how to coexist safely with nature, this is the channel for you. Make sure to smash that like button if you enjoy this video. It really helps us grow and reach more adventure seekers like you. Don't forget to comment below with your thoughts or personal wildlife encounters. We'd love to hear your stories. Hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell so you never miss out on our latest thrilling tales and expert insights. Join our community of wildlife enthusiasts who crave the untamed and unexplored. So grab your gear, stay curious, and prepare for another wild ride. This is Savage Tales Animal Encounters, where the wild meets the unexpected. It was a crisp autumn morning in Olympic National Park, a picturesque expanse of wilderness on Washington State's Olympic Peninsula. Robert Boardman, a seasoned hiker and lover of the outdoors, set out with his wife Susan Chad and their close friend Pat Willits for a day of exploration and serenity. Their destination was the Clahan Ridge Trail, a popular path known for its sweeping views of rugged peaks and lush valleys. The group was drawn to the trail's accessible length and the promise of breathtaking scenery at the summit. As they ascended the winding switchbacks, the trio enjoyed the peace that only nature could provide. Golden leaves rustled softly in the breeze, and the distant calls of birds echoed through the crisp air. They paused often to take in the sights, snapping photos and marveling at the beauty of the park's untouched wilderness. By midday, the hikers reached a scenic saddle near the top of the ridge, a natural resting spot where the trail plateaued and offered panoramic views of the surrounding mountains. They decided to stop for lunch and unpack their snacks while chatting and soaking in the tranquil setting. It was here, amidst the quiet solitude of the ridge, that their peaceful day took an unexpected turn. As they rested, Susan noticed movement in the distance. A mountain goat with its creamy white coat and sharp curling horns appeared on the trail. At first the animal seemed harmless, an exciting wildlife sighting to round out their hike. The hikers admired it from a safe distance, snapping a few photos while keeping an eye on the goat's movements. However, it quickly became clear that this was no ordinary wildlife encounter. The goat didn't follow the usual script of grazing leisurely or wandering off. Instead, it seemed to fixate on the group. Its movements were deliberate, its posture unnervingly assertive. The animal began closing the distance, its eyes locked on the hikers. Sensing the shift in behavior, Boardman and his companions grew uneasy. They recalled the park's guidelines about keeping at least 100 feet away from mountain goats and began to gather their belongings to leave. But as they stood to move, the goat's demeanor turned more aggressive. It advanced toward them with slow but determined steps, its head lowered slightly in a posture that suggested dominance. Boardman, experienced in the outdoors and mindful of protecting his companions, stepped forward. He waved his arms and yelled, attempting to scare the animal off, a common tactic to deter wildlife. Yet this goat didn't flinch. Instead, it stood its ground, its muscles tense and its stance unyielding. The tension in the air was palpable as the hikers realized they were dealing with an animal that wasn't behaving as expected. Susan and Pat, following Robert's instructions, began retreating cautiously down the trail, casting worried glances over their shoulders. The goat, however, refused to retreat. It continued to close in on Boardman, who was now standing alone, facing the animal head-on. The moment was fraught with uncertainty, but one thing was clear: the encounter was escalating. The goat's aggressive posture and unwavering focus signaled that this was no longer a mere wildlife sighting. It was a confrontation. What began as a serene hike amidst Olympic National Park's natural beauty was about to take a tragic turn, as the mountain goat's behavior shifted from aggressive posturing to outright attack. In an instant, the uneasy standoff between Robert Boardman and the mountain goat erupted into violence. The goat, its powerful muscles rippling beneath its thick white coat, lowered its head and charged. With alarming speed, the animal closed the distance, its sharp, dagger-like horns aimed directly at Boardman. The impact was devastating. The goat's horns gored Boardman's leg, inflicting a deep and catastrophic wound. He stumbled backward, blood quickly soaking his pants and pooling on the rocky trail beneath him. Despite his injury, Boardman tried to fend off the animal, shouting and waving his arms. But the goat was unrelenting. It circled him, stomping its hooves and displaying dominance, as if to assert its control over the territory. Nearby, Susan Chadd and Pat Willits, who had retreated down the trail as instructed, heard Boardman's anguished cries. They turned back, their worst fears confirmed when they saw him on the ground, the goat standing aggressively over his motionless form. Other hikers, including Jessica and Bill Backus, a family with 3 children, arrived on the scene, drawn by the commotion. The group faced a chilling reality. The goat wasn't behaving like a typical wild animal. It stood guard over Boardman's body, refusing to let anyone approach. It stared down the hikers with an unnerving intensity, pawing at the ground and blocking their attempts to render aid. Bill Backus, a park scientist familiar with mountain goats, took charge of the effort to distract the animal. With the help of other hikers, he began shouting, throwing rocks, and using reflective objects like a space blanket to try to divert the goat's attention. The animal, however, seemed undeterred by these tactics, holding its ground for a tense 15 minutes. Finally, the goat backed away, its focus broken by the glint of the reflective blanket. Jessica Backus, a former park ranger trained in first aid, rushed to Boardman's side. She quickly assessed his condition and began CPR, but it was clear his injuries were severe. Blood from the goring had caused significant blood loss, and despite her best efforts, she couldn't find a pulse. As Jessica worked, another hiker with medical training arrived on the scene and took over resuscitation efforts. Meanwhile, the Coast Guard, alerted by a call from Bill's park radio, dispatched a helicopter to airlift Boardman to safety. The noise of the approaching helicopter finally drove the goat farther away, allowing the rescuers more freedom to work. The Coast Guard helicopter landed near the scene, and rescuers carefully transported Boardman aboard. Despite their swift actions, it was too late. By the time they reached the Olympic Medical Center in Port Angeles, Robert Boardman was pronounced dead. The injuries he sustained during the attack had proven fatal. Park officials moved quickly to locate and neutralize the goat. The animal was found and killed by rangers later that day. Its body was sent to a laboratory for a necropsy to determine if any underlying health issues, such as rabies or other diseases, could explain its unusually aggressive behavior. In the days that followed, the incident shocked the community and the wider public. Boardman, a beloved member of the Port Angeles community, was mourned by friends, family and colleagues. Known for his passion for hiking, his work as a diabetes educator, and his contributions as a musician, his tragic death was a profound loss. Park officials began re-evaluating their wildlife management strategies, particularly concerning mountain goats. Though the animals are not native to the Olympic Mountains, their population had grown substantially, and incidents of aggressive behavior had been reported before. The attack highlighted the unpredictable nature of wildlife and underscored the importance of maintaining safe distances and respecting the boundaries of wild animals. The day that began as a peaceful hike in one of Washington's most beautiful parks ended in unimaginable tragedy. Robert Boardman's death served as a sobering reminder of nature's power and unpredictability, leaving a lasting impact on the park's visitors, staff, and policies. As we close this chapter of Robert Boardman's tragic encounter with a mountain goat, we're reminded of the delicate balance between humanity and nature. Even the most serene landscapes can hold unpredictable dangers, and respecting wildlife is not just a guideline, it's a necessity. Thank you so much for watching today's episode of Savage Tales Animal Encounters. If you found this story compelling or learned something new, make sure to hit that like button. It's the best way to let us know you enjoy our content. We'd love to hear your thoughts on today's story or any wildlife encounters you've experienced, so be sure to leave a comment below and join the conversation. If you haven't already, subscribe to the channel and join our growing community of adventure seekers, nature enthusiasts, and wildlife storytellers. Don't forget to ring the notification bell so you're the first to know when we drop new stories about the wild and unpredictable world of animal encounters. Sharing is caring. If you know someone who'd be fascinated by this story, share this video with them. It helps spread awareness about wildlife safety and grows our community of curious minds. Once again, thank you for spending your time with us here on Savage Tales, Animal Encounters. Stay curious, stay cautious, and remember, in the world of nature, the unexpected is always just around the corner. Until next time, tread lightly and respect the wild. Savage Tales, Animal Encounters, where the wild meets the unexpected.